It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Alright, so this one's going to be a two-parter. I'm going to talk about Daniel Dubois versus Jarrell Miller and Frank Sanchez versus Junior Fall. I'm going to tie them together because I actually think that Dubois and Frank Sanchez, I think them fighting each other is probably one of the most realistic and sensible fights to make in the heavyweight division for 2024. But let's start with Dubois and Jarrell Miller, because this is a fight that had the intrigue and had captured the imagination of a lot of boxing fans. You know, when Jarrell Miller, and this is a guy that has done a good job of talking his way up the rankings. You know, I'm thankful for guys like Jarrell Miller, because while he's not the best heavyweight in the world, he's not like insanely elite puncher. I think every division needs a Jarrell Miller, a guy that can talk a lot of shit and make these promotions exciting. You know, so him and Dubois, I think, did a great job, truthfully, of carrying this promotion, because they were the fight that had me the most excited. Dubois, first fight back since the Usyk fight, controversial Usyk fight where people thought that he hit Usyk with a clean body shot. The ref kind of bailed him out, and I feel like he should have been unified champion of the world right now. And it was what it was. It played out how it played out, so you can't cry over spilled milk. But a good chance for him to fight a guy that's a known commodity in the heavyweight division, a guy that's to this point 26-0, hasn't lost yet, right? So you look at Jarrell Miller, he was like 340 pounds, something like that, and he outweighed Dubois by like over 100 pounds. Dubois, to his credit, a lot of people thought that a lot of people were picking Jarrell Miller to win this fight because of the fact that Dubois and some of the fights against Usyk and Joyce, when things got a little bit difficult for him, he gassed out and he looked for a way out, and some would say he quit, right? So people thought that Miller had the punch output and the stamina to take him to that place and do that to him, which I don't blame them for. That's sensible, but I didn't think that, because even if Miller, first of all, I already knew Jarrell Miller wasn't going to come in the shape that he needed to be at to fight the way he needed to fight to have the best chance to beat at Dubois, right? And even with all that, you still got to have something. I don't care if it's even a little bit. You have to have something to keep Daniel Dubois honest and tire him out. And I didn't think Miller had enough artillery, firepower to do that in this fight, right? So in the fight, Miller fought the way you thought he'd fight. He goes and he tries to lean on Dubois, and I think Dubois completely bossed this fight from every range imaginable: outside, mid-range, inside. He showed really good counter punching, but the best punch in this fight for Dubois wasn't the right hand, wasn't that dangerous left hook. It was actually his jab. Every time Dubois stuck out that jab, it stopped Miller in his tracks from coming forward and made him very, very tired. And he started to really bust him up with that jab. So I think that's a punch that, as Dubois continues to mature, because he's still very, very young and he's done so much in his young career, I got to give the young man his due, because we always say we want fighters to fight the best, and this is a guy that's fought quite a lot of opposition at his age. Guys like Joyce, guys like Usyk, now a guy like Miller, Nathan Gorman when he was a prospect, Kevin Lorena, Trevor Bryan, Bogdan Dino. He's done some. He's got a good solid resume, one of the better resumes out there, Dubois, right? But I think with him being only 26, I think this a point of contention for Dubois' maturation, the development is going to be that jab, and this fight is a great blueprint for what I think he could become at his best. Dubois, just did a great job counter punching Miller and just dominating the whole fight. Miller could do nothing with him, and I give Jarrell some credit, because as out of shape as he was, he almost went the distance. He got all the way to the last 10 seconds and almost made the bell, but Dubois showed some killer instinct and put him away. And this isn't a 10-rounder, so that makes it even more impressive, because there's less time to put a guy like that away. And this guy's 100 pounds bigger than him and never been lost or stopped before. So, good performance from Dubois. As far as Miller, again, Miller, he has to live the life of a fighter and be professional. I mean, I've been saying it for years. I met him many years ago in 2016, not too long after he fought Donovan Dennis. He was like 275 or 280, and this is like 2016 back at the Heavyweight Factory. I don't think he's been that weight since then, so he's got to get down closer to that weight. I'm not saying he's got to be that exact weight, but he can't be no damn 340 or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? So Hopefully he can come back better. But Dubois gonna be in a really good position this year. Now I'd like to see him fight the guy that I'm about to talk about next, Frank Sanchez. He had a fight on this card as well against Junior Fa. And on paper, I thought it was a mismatch because I'd seen Junior Fa fight twice, once against Joseph Parker and another time against Lucas Brown. You know, the Joseph Parker fight was pretty uneventful. The Lucas Brown fight, a bit controversial. Brown landed a bit of a rabbit punch to the back of the head, and the referee ruled it a knockdown, and he got stopped, right? So it was a chance for Junior Fa to show what he could do in this fight against Sanchez, and you know, he tried to box off a nice, you know, long rangy jab early in the fight, but there's just levels, man. Like the Brits say, levels, yeah. Just levels. I mean, Sanchez's feet, his boxing IQ, his natural fighting instincts, just too much for the Junior Fas of the world. So as the fight went on, I saw Frank Sanchez get the positioning down. I saw him counter punching. I saw him doing whatever he wanted to do, however he wanted to do it. You know, and there's just no two ways about it. He wound up actually dropping Junior Fa multiple times in this fight and getting a very, very exciting stoppage victory. So good for Frank Sanchez, because a guy like him who doesn't have the highest marketability, who gets constantly overlooked, who can't speak English, you know, a guy like him needed to put on that kind of a performance on a card like this in Saudi, and he did. So good for him. I hope it bodes well for him going into 2024. And I think, look, naturally, the fight to make is going to be, I feel like it's him and Daniel Dubois is a fight to make, because Sanchez is looking for a bigger name to fight in his career than the guys he's been fighting. He hasn't really been able to get a big fight since he absolutely exposed Efe Ajagba a couple years ago. So I think Daniel Dubois is that fight for him. You know, Dubois is a fighter that is very exciting to watch, who's a vulnerable fighter, but he can punch. So the fact that he's so dangerous but equally vulnerable, that makes for an exciting fighter. And I feel like a guy like Dubois would bring out the best in a guy like Frank Sanchez, and Frank being a bit older and Dubois getting some good experience against the likes of Usyk and Joe Miller his last two fights. You know, that it's a really good fight, I feel, for the heavyweight division. And I'll say this: if Daniel Dubois can beat a Frank Sanchez, because I think I don't know, I feel like Dubois should go into that fight as an underdog, because I think Frank Sanchez is a slightly higher caliber heavyweight than Daniel Dubois. So I feel like if he being Dubois beats Frank Sanchez, that would be just a huge feather in his cap. And then for Frank Sanchez, you know, I would like to see, if he beats Dubois, that's easily the biggest name he has on his resume, and it would pivot him into something even bigger, because the only guys that have defeated Dubois are big names themselves, guys like Usyk and guys like Joe Joyce. So I feel like, you know, he can't get a guy like Sanchez, can't get a guy like Usyk right now because he's tied up, but maybe a Joe Joyce, maybe a Parker. You know, the world will be Frank Sanchez's oyster at that point. So to me, it'd be a good fight. You know, stylistically speaking, it's an interesting fight because, you know, Frank Sanchez isn't known as a puncher, but he's still sporting a 70% knockout ratio, and he can clearly punch. But he also has some of the most intelligent feet in the heavyweight division. So I feel like some of the things Dubois showed in the Miller fight, he's going to have to show against Frank Sanchez, which is going to be a lot harder because Frank Sanchez can move very well, has very good feet, and is a very sharp puncher. So Dubois' defense is going to have to be a little bit tighter, and it's going to ask him to raise his level in the heavyweight division. And, you know, again, he's 26. He's got a whole truckload of experience with some of the best heavyweights in the world already. I think Frank Sanchez might be exactly what we need from a guy like Daniel Dubois. So that's just my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think of Dubois versus Frank Sanchez next year? And what did you make of their performances respectively against guys like Junior Fa and Gerald Miller? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.